OK, ladies and gentlemen, I went to bed genuinely angry last night. It was because of something that happened up in Scotland yesterday. I'm sure you're all aware of the utter madness that took place there. Well, the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has said it would be reasonable for the UK government to consider blocking new gender reforms in Scotland. The past week's seen intense debate at Holyrood. That's over the Gender Recognition Reform Bill, which has remarkably been passed. It's intended to make it easier for trans Scots to obtain a gender recognition certificate, which all sounds relatively well-meaning, although that in itself is controversial. However, there are a load of knock-on effects to this, the irreversible damage to children and, of course, women's safety. Westminster could effectively veto Sturgeon's legislation if it's believed to have an adverse effect on laws the UK Parliament has jurisdiction over. Joining me now, and I'm going to get straight to her because I think we've all had enough of me on this issue, is a women's rights campaigner and founder of Standing for Women. It's Kellie-Jay Keen. Kelly, how did you feel yesterday at the video that emerged of a group of elected politicians standing up and applauding a group of men who'd pushed for a bill to erode women's rights?
Oh, it was quite grotesque, wasn't it? How I felt, I don't know. It was between being utterly bereft and completely enraged. So it was like a trans hybrid feeling.
I like it, right. OK, all right. What, in your view, will this bill lead to?
Oh, gosh, the consequences are so enormous I mean, Scotland's already been pretty poor when it comes to women's spaces anyway, which is why J.K. Rowling recently opened a domestic violence rape crisis type centre just for women, because there aren't any in certain areas of Scotland. In fact, there aren't too many in England or Wales either, because everyone's far too frightened to exclude men from those spaces. So you have domestic violence shelters, you have every single space women have carved out for ourselves is now completely vanished, evaporated, because men can just identify their way into them. And then as far as children go, I think this might be a first step for Scotland, to be quite honest. I mean, Spain's just done it so you can legally change your sex marker at the age of 12, as long as you have some sort of corrupt judge to agree with you. So we really are in end of days kind of territory. It's really scary.
The response from quite a lot of people to this is, well, look, it's only a small number of people that would conceivably abuse this law to find themselves as male rapists in a woman's space. What do you say to that?
Well, there's 35 million men in the UK and only 12,000 of them are serving time for rape. So it's only ever a small number of men that raping women, but it only takes one. You only need one man to do it for it to be catastrophic for women. And the fear that we feel about going into spaces now, certainly in Scotland, I mean, where can women actually feel safe at all in that entire country?
Why have they done this?
I don't know what their motivations are. I really can't see past not caring about women, not caring about the safety of women, not caring about the dignity of women, not seeing women as fully human, a mediocre power grab. I mean, it can also be like apparently the first debate back after Christmas is going to be Scottish independence. Maybe this is some sort of dodgy little backroom deal. I have no idea. Nothing good. There is not one good reason I think that they could possibly be doing this. Not one.
It's not just the SNP. Labour, they whipped their politicians to wave this through. The Greens and the Lib Dems as well. Have they all been captured by what is becoming an increasingly fashionable trans ideology?
I think so. I mean, look, right across this country, there are women still too frightened to speak, even though they've now just watched an entire country lose women's rights. And there's still women too scared to speak up. These politicians are too scared to speak up. They're too frightened of not being elected, which is why the House of Lords has been absolutely a godsend in these times. But as for Labour, I mean, what are they doing? Are they just hoping that the whole of Twitter might vote for them? Because it's not going to be people that are worried about the cost of living crisis this year. They're not going to win back Labour voters with these idiotic policies.
Should Westminster overrule this?
Oh, yeah, that would just be so beautiful. What a lovely Christmas miracle if they could just overrule it. I think it will have consequences. Can, for example, my 16-year-old daughter, can she just pop north of the border, become a boy, and then come back to England, and then everybody has to treat her as a boy? So yes, I think the ramifications are huge. I think we have no choice but to block it.